I'm Olie from Flitz. We're a 45-year-old manufacturer of the Flitz polishing products. Now, Flitz has been sold in the gun industry for the last 42 years. We actually started years ago at the first SHOT Show in Las Vegas. And there's also a trade show called IWA, which is one of the biggest shows in the world for the firearm industry. What I want to show you is the Flitz polishing paste. We're going to start with this first. The polishing paste comes in a cream form, and you can use it anything from gun bluing to stainless steel to nickel, carbon, whatever you choose. Now, this is what they call factory hot bluing. And what I want to make a statement here, this is what we call cold bluing. Cold bluing is actually like a magic marker, basically like ink you're putting on. That's something that Flitz will take off. So cold bluing is something very temporary, just to make it look pretty, but it's really not a long-term situation. The factory hot bluing, like we're having here, is done at the manufacturing level. Now you smear this on. I'm going to take a microfiber here, real soft cloth from Flitz, and show you how it removes the surface rust and the oxidation on that bluing. And you'll see here my cloth, you'll see the rust right in the cloth. Now, it doesn't take off a lot, but bluing is what they call a controlled form of rust. And what that means is it's put on with heat and acids. And once you put this on, Flitz leaves it to a beautiful finish, like we're doing over here. But when we're done, we actually want to protect it. Now, Flitz will protect for 2 to 3 months. Fantastic. But you know, when you're handling a firearm, your acid in your system, your perspiration, you know, water when you're outside hunting and things, we actually do use a product afterwards called a Flitz Rifle and Gun Wax. Now, the Flitz Rifle and Gun Wax is actually made of beeswax and carnauba. So it's all natural. There's no odor, there's no smell. It's something, actually, when I pour a little bit out here in my hand, you'll see when you look at it. In fact, let me just make sure this is open here. It's not even open. And we're going to give you an idea how this works. Now, the Rifle and Gun Wax looks like hand cream. And when I put this on, it's very, very soft. Now, this can be put over all the entire firearm. And what we're going to do here, we're going to put the Flitz wax directly over the gun bluing, like this here. Now, I'm just putting it on by hand. I'll take, again, a soft cloth, like a microfiber like this, and wipe it off. One thing nice with the gun wax, you don't need to let it dry. It doesn't need to let it harden. It's a natural product. You're putting it on, you're wiping it off. The best part about it is this. I'm going to show you how fast it beads up. This is just plain water. As soon as water hits it, you can't get water to stick on that gun barrel. It's phenomenal. And if you're duck hunting or deer hunting, this is a major, major issue. As you know, it's snow and ice. But on top of that, just the moisture alone. Now, when the gun is done like this and is basically in storage or in your gun case, the gun waxes work phenomenal. There's only one negative to the Flitz gun wax. Like any other wax sold in the world, all waxes melt at 140 degrees, regardless what brand it is. So when you're putting the gun wax on top of a firearm and you're just basically storing the firearm, touching it and things like that, no problem. It's going to work fantastic. It'll last several months. But Flitz has recently come up with a product called a ceramic sealant. Now, the ceramic sealant is something that when you put on, it's a much longer term protection. If you're familiar with the ceramic marketplace, and if you buy a car, the first thing the dealership wants to do is sell you a coating for the paint. And they'll tell you it'll last between 2 and 3 years. And you can spend over $1,000 for it. This ceramic coating is the same product you're getting from the car dealerships, just made for the consumer to make it friendly. Now, when you spray this on, it's almost like water. So you can spray it on the firearm on bluing, like this. You can spray it on the wood, on the stock, whatever you put it on. And when you wipe it off, it'll dry, but it dries super hard. Now, this product, the sealant, takes actually 2 to 3 days to cure. But once it cures, that will last at least 4 to 5 months. Now, a little bit hard for you to see, but I'm going to take the same water bottle and put it on directly in the same bluing, and you'll see the water even beads up easier with the sealant on it than with the wax. Because the sealant is a man-made material, and because it is man-made, it's not going to break down from heat like a natural wax would, but it will hold up much longer for you. If you're using the firearm a lot, the gun sealant is a much longer term protection. Now we're going to start cleaning on the inside of the gun right away and give you a chance how that works. But before I do that, I want to finish up this firearm completely for you. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take some Flitz, and I'll take the polish here, and I'll put it directly on the wood, on the receiver, the stock, and everything. Now, especially when you have blood stains or oxidation from touching it, being in the woods, different things like this, the paste is safe on everywhere in the firearm. Now, this is a 30-30, actually quite old gun. You can actually see how the bluing is actually wore off from all the years of use. That's something the Flitz won't take care of. It won't bring back something that's not there. It's a great product, but not a miracle worker. But once you put this polish on, I take, again, a soft cloth, and I buff it. Now, when I'm doing that, you can see the difference just in the wood, of course, on the blued steel. And as I'm doing it, when you're finished, of course, you can definitely use it if you want to on put your oils and things like that to lubricate the firearm. The Flitz is not a lubricant, but the great thing about Flitz is it's safe. It's very environment friendly. We have quite a few companies like Winchester. If you buy a Henry rifle today, all those companies recommend Flitz on all their firearms because they love it because it not only polishes and cleans it, but it protects it the same way. Now, that's the Flitz paste being used. Now, I'll use the Flitz liquid the same way. Now, the Flitz gun wax. Now, the gun wax, what we're going to do differently, we're going to pour it directly in the cloth here. Spread it around a little bit. Then by using this on the wood, you're putting on super thin. I'll put it over the receiver and the stock. And the great thing again about this is you get a longer protective finish in the same way. Now, you don't have to use the gun wax. The Flitz polish protects by itself, but definitely, especially up in the woods area with moisture and any firearm, the hardest things to protect is against rust and fingerprints, as we all know. Now I'm going to take this here, I'm going to finish the stock here in the back. And I know on wood it's a little harder to see before and after, but you'll see once I pour water over it and things, how this gives it an excellent protective finish. Because carnauba is a natural wax from a tree, and beeswax, there's no silicones and different things in here, so you don't have any worries that when using the same spray. Now, by simply pouring some water on top, you'll see how on the wood itself, it gives you the same protection. And by blowing it off, it comes right off. So it's fantastic on your wood stock and everything else. It gives you really great protection. So the gun rifle wax is something that we recommend for basically a 2 to 3 month period. And as I said, especially when you're handling the firearm, storing it and so on. But if you do want a very long-term protective finish that's going to last longer for you, then we would recommend the Flitz Sealant. The Flitz Sealant is a ceramic coating, much longer term. It does take 2 to 3 days to actually, we call cure. Now it's dry to the touch as soon as you put it on. In fact, just for explanation's sake, let me put on this wood stock here. You see it right over here. Let me move this out a little bit. And I'm just going to do half. So I'm going to do half with a sealant. As you see, it sprays on, it looks like water. And again, as I mentioned, you don't need to let it dry. You can take it off right away. But the difference is amazing. It's not only a difference in cleaning it, but in protection. Now, they both protect very well, but with the camera angle over here, I don't know if you'll be able to see the line that I'm doing over here, but you can actually see a little difference in luster where the sealant gives you a higher luster like this than it does with a gun wax. They both give the same protective finish, they both have the water beating up and so on, but the whole idea behind this is a much longer term preservative. So let's start now with inside the gun. So what I'm going to do now, we're going to start with our Flitz bore cleaner. Now the bore cleaner is basically like the Flitz product, but a little different thickness. It's a thinner product, easier to use this way when you're doing it, especially on something small, like inside a bore. This is a gun cleaning patch. We put this through our tool here. I'm going to take a little product and actually just pour it right on top. And then I saturate the cloth with the bore cleaner. And once I've done that, dry my hands here, we're going to take it in the bore of the firearm, and you just simply put it in. And let me put this down here for a second. And you work it in the muzzle. Now when this comes in here, you put it in and pull it out. And now this is just one application. You could see the oxidation, the dirt, oils, and different things that's built up inside here. Now by doing this in the bore itself, it normally takes, I would say, 2 to 3 swabs. I do it a little more often here. You can actually feel the difference as your grain inside the barrel, and you could see how dirty it's become like this. So once that's done, we simply take another cloth here. You feed it through almost like a needle, and we'll go through it again. Now normally, in my experience, this takes 2 to 3 applications. I'm sorry, getting through there is quick. That's one of the problems. As you get older, the eyesight's not the same. But we'll use it in the same way here in a bore. I'll try to get it for the camera person here. You can see how it goes in. And pull it out, pull it in, and out. You can actually see the difference in the cloth already. And as I do it, you see the cloth is still soiled, not quite as bad as the other one. This is the first one you see here. This is the second one. Now I'll do it for the 3rd time. And that'll get off any of the rest of the residue and so on. Now again, Flitz is a cream product. And people always ask you, well, how abrasive is Flitz? Well, in honesty, all polishes have to have abrasive. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a polish, because it's still a solid material. And let me just work this inside here a little bit. When they're new like that, a little harder. And the abrasive factor on Flitz is between 3 and 4 thousandths. So it's super, super, super fine. And here you can see how the cloth is not quite soiled. So after 3 patches like that, you're basically finished. I do like to take the gun and rifle wax and give it an extra shot inside the firearm or the sealant. And the reason I do that, it just gives it that much better protection, because not only on the exterior but interior, the gun is going to get full of soil and everything else. What we'll do is we're going to use the gun sealant this time on here, because the gun sealant is a longer term preservative. I spray it on the cloth, and let me take it out here, and again use it in the bore itself same way. And you can see it kind of slides a little easier. The lubrication of the pry does a great job. And when you do it like this, the cloth is basically clean when it comes out. There's a little soil on it, not much, but it still puts that protective coating inside, and that's all you need. Once this is done, 6 months, it'll last without any problem at all. The ceramic sealant is a really good long-term preservative, as I was mentioning. So let me clean my mess up here a little bit. Now, the bluing on the firearm, again, as I said, factory hot bluing is perfectly safe. I'm going to show you here, put this rifle down for a second, and I'm going to get one that's basically a polished and a stainless steel finish. Now, for the same reason, this firearm is what they call a matte finish on a stainless, as you can see. And it's something that Flitz is definitely safe on using and so on. Let me take these patches out of the way here so we don't get all confused. And we're going to take the Flitz polish in the same way on this firearm. Now I'm just going to do one section here to show before and after, and then we'll finish the firearm right up. I'm putting it on top. I take a soft cloth. We use these Flitz microfibers. They're super thick, very absorbent. You pull off any residue, oil. You can see all the residue here in the cloth. that comes off, then I simply take it and buff it. Now, again, this is a metal finish, but if you look from here to here, you can actually see a difference. This is a duller matte finish, where this is a matte finish yet, but much slicker and cleaner. Same scenario, you have two choices. You have the bore cleaner for inside. You have the gun and rifle wax, which is again beeswax and carnauba. And you also have the Flitz sealant, which is the ceramic coating. So by putting this on top, it gives you, again, a more long-term preservative. It doesn't take very much. It's very quick and easy. And again, as I said earlier, you don't need to let it dry. You can take it off right away because it is a natural wax. It's made of carnauba and beeswax. Again, the same firearm, you get a phenomenal preservative out of it. You can't get the water to stick on here. The same thing if you get a fingerprint, it just wipes right off. It's just super easy. Now I have a little bit sticking like that. You can see just from blowing on it how it comes off. Now the sealant, uses the exact same principle. There's no difference in application except you're spraying it on and wiping it off. But the sealant is, as I said earlier, a long-term protective coating. Ceramic sealants, like for instance a car finish, will last 6 months to a year. And the same thing for a firearm, because the biggest problem with your firearm is of course the powder residue, your perspiration, the acid from your system, and of course rain and snow that you get involved in. Again, you'll see when water gets on top how it just beads up just beautifully. It's super, super easy as far as maintaining goes. And that's where the Flitz products come in. They're not only safe, they're easy to use, and they leave a preservative. Now let me do the entire firearm here so the person we're borrowing these from doesn't get all upset and we give them a finished product. As you see, I just pop a little bit on with my fingers here. It doesn't take very much. This Weatherby here is, I think, around 15, 20 years old, so actually excellent in shape that way. But we'll take this, use it the exact same way with the microfiber. And as you can see, I use it around a bolt. I use it around the stainless, the nickel, the brush finishes like this. Now a good example is right over here. Let me just get a close up in here. Right here on the bolt itself, you can see this is, of course, is a stainless steel finish. Now let me just do part of this area. I'm going to take a little bit of Flitz. As you can see, a very small amount. A little dab on here. And I'm going to take a cotton gun patch, and I'm just going to do part of this area. I just want to show you all the oxidation that you don't think is on the stainless steel, but just from this gun being stored, the powder and things from firing, look at all the oxidation it pulls right off. It's phenomenal. Then you take it and I buff it, and not only can you see a major difference in here and how much brighter this is. Look at here, the difference there, and I should probably show you, that's before, this is after. Major difference. And the quality of sliding is so much better when it's done. Now, of course, we'll finish the whole job here, but I do want to show you again, just for the camera person here and yourself in the audience, I'll put a dab of water on here and you'll see the water beads up just as easily on a stainless steel as it does on the bluing. And little water, little air comes right off. So again, it's a great product to use for cleaning, polishing, and protecting. Let me do the entire shaft here. So get this all done. The company, the person has again borrowed this to us will be hopefully very, very pleased to get a completely reconditioned firearm within, really, if you think of it, probably 10, 12, 15 minutes max, depends how aggressive you want to get and how detailed you want to get. And these microfibers are great because you can wash these when you put them in the laundry. Just wash them with normal soap and water, and dry them like normal. Don't use fabric softener with it. They're super, super soft, and again, they're extremely thick. And you can see a firearm like this, how fast you can make it happen. So, one last piece, right in the back here. Now this stock is a man-made material. It is not wood like the other one with the Winchester, but This is something you can use also as well, either the wax or the sealant. They both work as well. Let me just do this one area over here to kind of give you a little before and after. Put a little bit on. And as you can see, when you put it on, it really darkens up a little bit. It leaves a nice finish on basically a hybrid of plastic. Also protects it from perspiration. And here you can actually see a before and after on the firearm. This is before, that being after. So the sealant is a great product to use even on a man-made plastic like this for protection. So let's finish up the entire firearm. Again, just a few sprays. Now the sealant comes in small 2-ounce bottles. One of these bottles will do at least 5 to 7 long guns. And when you're doing them, you get a protective coating for a good 6 months. You know, like most people, I especially go hunting every day, but I'm pretty anal about my own firearms and want to make sure you maintain them properly. And most people put this on probably 2 to 3 times a year just to make sure, even when they're storing the firearm, to get the best protection. Because even the humidity of a home, as we all know, things will rust and corrode. And here you make sure everything is 100%. So in less than 10 minutes, the firearm is finished. And you have it looking like brand new. So the Flitz polish is not just for guns. It's also for knives, ornamental items like the sword over here. We even have a very unique piece here given to us from a collector that you can use on stainless steel and nickel plated finishes. Now what I'd like to do is start with, since we have the Flitz polish out, we're going to demonstrate on this sword. Now this is all nickel with stainless, excuse me, and you put a very thin coat on the top part. Make sure you don't cut my hands, so I always make sure I go away from the blade. And after you put this on top, we'll take a clean microfiber and we'll work it. You'll see a major difference immediately as I'm doing this. Look at that. Look at the oxidation coming off. It's unbelievable. By putting this on, it not only polishes it to a brilliant finish, the Flitz will leave that protective coating on the metal in the same way. Now, you can see the major before and after. There's no doubt about that. I'll take, again, the dab of water, and you can see the difference, how the water will stick on one side and peel off on the other. Whenever you put the Flitz on, it always gives it a wax-type coating. Now, you put the product on stainless steel and nickel, you get a protective coating anywhere between 4 and 5 months the same way. Now, a collector's piece like this is not really going to be used, but you still have a humidity issue with it in a home or environment where you're keeping it. I'm going to put the Flitz on here, and I'm going to take a little polish and put it directly in the cloth, as you're seeing here. I'm doing that purposely because of sharp edges. That way I can cover the entire blade here. And when I go away from the blade itself, so I make sure I cover everything. Once I've done that, let me just move this here so everybody can see a little better. We'll just take it and then bring it out to a beautiful finish. So you can do, again, any commemorative collectibles. It could be knives, it could be swords. We sell actually for law enforcement, for police departments, anywhere from their light bars to other different things. You can see the major difference. That's before, excuse me, and that is after. Major, major. Now, while doing this, again, we want to finish the product here because these were borrowed to us from a local patron here in Wisconsin. So we had something to demonstrate with. Again, I use it very lightly. And when it comes to the blade part, I'm going to put the blade down here so I go away from that. And once this is done, and applied, you'll see all the black oxide pulls off. Then you simply take a clean tissue or a clean part of the microfiber and then buff it out. The shine comes back immediately. And if you notice, even on a piece like this, which is brass, now this brass happens to be lacquer coated, which Flitz is definitely safe on. Flitz will not remove the lacquer, but you can use Flitz on any kind of ornamental finish, if it's anything from silver to brass and bronze into copper and gold. But here, it's great pride. I'm sure this individuals will be very, very happy with what we've done. And you can see in less than 5 minutes it's finished. So let me put the sword down here in the front. I'm going to take the ornamental piece, same scenario like this. Now this, I'm guessing it's just a show and tell piece, but it's something that's been laying around for several years, he told me, and found it in the attic. So I'm going to put a little dab on here. And let me take again the gun cleaning patch, because this is plain cotton, perfectly clean. And let me do this here so I make sure everybody can see properly and I don't, of course, cut myself. I'm going to work it back and forth. And you're going to take off that oxidation right away. Here you can see the black residue. You can see it before and after already as I'm working. But let me finish the job and give you a difference here between the before and after. And you can see how it looks. Now if this was your piece and you were showing this or displaying it at a show or in your cabinet or wherever you happen to keep your collectibles, wouldn't you want it to look like that shine versus what we have over here? Same exact scenario, a little water gets on top, the Flitz gives it a protective coating from the moisture, the air, and gives you a beating up effect. So you still get the idea where the water protects it, just like fingerprints and everything else dust. Now by putting this on, and let me finish this piece here for the person again that borrowed it to us, we're going to take it with a Flitz polishing and put directly in the cloth. Doing that, of course, so it doesn't get caught where I cut myself. And this is a very unique piece, so we do all the sides. Get a little more polish here. And the polish is like a hand cream, so it's a nice thing that you can't really overuse it. If you do overuse it, you just have it a little more in your cloth. But working with Flitz has been really great for us because we can use it in so many different areas. We actually do a lot of times brass, different things like that, which we'll show you right away again. But here you can see all the black oxide it pulls off on the microfiber, and we'll buff it out. Again, very quick, very easy. And this can be done realistically every 6 to 9 months, depending how humid you're putting this in, or if you're actually using a piece or happen to have it like displayed at a show where people are touching it. Because the acid from people's system is always the hardest part. Let me do this other side of the blade over here. And again, because it's a sharp blade, I'm only pressing on top, always pushing down. So we're going with the grain. And at the same time, I'm going to do it like this here. And you can see how beautiful this is. But I also want to show you how sharp that knife was. You can just see the fuzz it pulled off in that microfiber. So why using this very, very carefully is very important. But look at it, look at the results. It's outstanding, it really is. I'm very much to be proud of. And by the way, if you get the Flitz on leather like this, and let's just put some on, just for shake. You're going to find, if that puts on there, it's not a problem. You just take it and wipe it off. If it were to dry, you'd have a white residue. You can take a little soap and water, sometimes a little toothbrush, and it'll take it off the same way. So it's definitely safe around leather, safe on their painted finishes, plastics, and so on. Now last and final, since we're doing the knife area here, we want to show you a very classic. This is called a Buck 110. Probably the most famous knives, anything from motorcycle riders to gun collectors to hunters. Same exact principle. Now this knife, of course, is made of brass. It has a stainless steel blade. The blade looks pretty rusted, just probably from moisture sitting around here and different things. But I'm going to put a dab on the brass, and I'm going to put a dab here on the stainless. Now let me take a new microfiber and show you exactly how fast this can work on a brass bolster. And look at that, folks. In a couple, 5 seconds, I got that like brand new. Very, very easy. And again, the Flitz polish is a non-abrasive cream, as I was explaining earlier. Now it takes a little rubbing, it's not magic, but look at that blade. Man, wow, is that outstanding or is that outstanding? Look at that. Look at the rust that's pulled off. Because as we all know, stainless steel is exactly what it says. Stainless, not stain proof. So I want to remind you, when you have stainless steel, you can get to your best grade of stainless. You still have problems with moisture and rusting. I'm going to take a little water, and you get the exact same protective coating as I was showing before, where bees right up for you. Now, all these products, the Flitz does leave a protective coating. Flitz has a preservative built into it. But if you want a long-term protective finish, especially if you're going to put the item somewhere where it's moist or you're collecting somewhere and it's being sorted out, I would definitely recommend putting the wax or the sealant on top. I'm putting the polish in the cloth because, of course, the blade here I don't want to cut myself, but it comes off super, super quick with the rust here and things. I'll do the back of the bolster the same way. And once Flitz is in the cloth, it's almost impregnated. You can see the black residue like this. I put it on, and I buff right off. Now, you know, I've gone to knife shows, and you have people that are knife collectors, and of course, like any hobbyist, when you have something you're collecting and using, you're going to be super anal about how you're doing it. But if you notice, I put over the wood, I put over the brass, over the stainless steel, of course, and also nickel. When you take a knife such as a case, a good collector's piece that way, case uses a lot of nickel in their cutlery, and you can see all the black residue pulls off, which again is fairly common when you're doing brass, stainless, and nickel. Now once I've taken that off, again I take the cloth and I buff it. And I didn't time myself here, but I'm guessing 4 to 5 minutes. I have this knife looking really, really handsome again. Something you'd be proud to wear, proud to display, or to even use. Now again, this is a buck. Actually a very old knife, probably, I'm guessing, at least 50, 60 years old. It's probably one of the oldest knife styles, been around for a long, long time. But you can see what we've done here. I'm very, very impressed myself, and I'm sure you are too. This is super easy to use and great to handle. Now, like anything else, industries have changed, times have changed, and you're going now to what they call tactical matte finishes. Now, tactical matte, of course, is a dull finish. It's like when you see a car nowadays, Mercedes, BMW, they have 2 paints in their entourage you can buy, which are white or black, which are dull, flat paints. Now, matte finishes, people, they like the look, just like wheels, but they do take work. In fact, if you touch matte finish with your fingers, just the oil from your skin, the body acid, will leave a stain behind. It'll make it shiny, which you don't want. So that's why Flitz developed what we call a tactical matte finish cleaner. Now, this product comes in spray form, again, very environment friendly. You can use it on anything from the handle, like this, to the blade. And by putting this on top, it's a simple process. Just wipe it off. And look, as it dries, let me just make sure I get a nice clean area in the cloth here. As it dries, how nice that looks. It's still a nice flat finish, but you've removed any oil, any grease, your fingerprints, blood stains, etc. And of course, when you're hunting, you're using a tool like this. It is truly a tool, but in some people they use it just as a collector. But if it's a tactical matte finish like this, our tactical spray is phenomenal and easy. Now you don't get the black residue off like this when you're using the tactical spray because you're basically removing fingerprints and oil, but you're doing the same thing here as a cleaner. Now again, this is a cleaner, and I don't want to sell you to you this is a protective coating. Again, I'm going to put some water over it and just watch what happens. The water is going to stick. See how the water doesn't, it just puddles there. It's not beating up. And that's because this is a cleaner. This is designed to take off grease, oil, fingerprints, and so on. If you want to protect something from your perspiration, your acid, then we have two choices. You have the gun or rifle wax, or you have the ceramic sealant. Now, they both work well, but again, as I was explaining earlier, the ceramic sealant is a much longer term protection. And one thing about ceramic sealant, when you put ceramic finishes on a flat mat like this, they don't make it shiny. It gives you great protection, but you're going to see, I wipe it off, super easy. One thing about the ceramic coating is not a lot of rubbing or anything. You put this on your automobile or any finish, you'll be super impressed. This ceramic finish is a very long-term preservative. You can use it on anything from your home, your golf cart, sporting goods items. Now that's how simple it is. Now what I've done in this case, now we've protected the metal. And not only is it super smooth, by getting water on here, you're going to see how the preservative gets on top and how it beads up for you like that. So it doesn't puddle. So by using a ceramic finish, not only will you get a long-term protective finish against fingerprints and moisture, it'll keep it up that way for you too. Now when you do use a ceramic sealant like this, it will take 2 to 3 days to cure. So when you're putting it on, it's dry to the touch, but 2 to 3 days from now it'll get extremely hard. That's when it probably really holds up the longest. So definitely try to use that on any of your cutlery. Even if you use it at home on stainless steel cutlery to eat from every day or silverware, it's great to use these products just to maintain them. If you notice, the Flitz product back here has a USDA authorization. What that actually means is, not that you should eat it, but the product is safe to use on products where you prepare with food. In other words, you can put it on your stainless steel counters, you can put it on cooking utensils, you can put it on regular cutlery knives in your home. It works in the exact same way. Takes off any surface rust, especially for the dishwasher. You know, sometimes it doesn't all get off or soap gets on there and different things. And using something like this, you really brighten up your flatware for the holidays and bring that back, keep the boss happy for you. Now I've showed Flitz, of course, on different things here in the firearms. But let me put some of these things away here so get a little more cleaned up. I got my plastic a little messed up here with the rust and things, but not the end of the world. Now, I want to show you some other areas you can use Flitz on. Now, again, we have a flat mat piece here from a firearm. Again, a flat mat finish. You'd use a spray. Now, we have some rust on here, little spots like that. This Pride is a great cleaner. It will take off surface rust, but it's not designed to take off pitting and corrosion. You know, if something is actually rusted where it's eaten right through a very old piece of ammo or something like that, or old military gun, it will not do it. But it will definitely make it look better than what you had before. And you can see when I'm cleaning it, the rust it does pull off. And you still have a nice dull flat finish. Now, some of you might be familiar with the muzzle loaders. And before I mentioned a company called Henry. The Henry rifle, which is made here in Wisconsin, has a lot of brass on it, brass bolsters and things. And what I want to try to show you, again, how little bit of Flitz it takes. And we're going to put a little bit onto here, on top here. Put it on the side. And if you're doing part of a muzzle loader, it just takes really half a minute to a minute to brighten it up. Take off that oxidation and the tarnish. Here you can see how black the residue is. Again, I take a soft cloth and I wipe it. And that's all there's to it. It's just that simple, folks. Now, this is just a part or piece here that we've done. We've done this, for example, here on a brass piece. But on older firearms, sometimes they're used just for display. But a muzzleloader like this you can actually use when it's muzzleloading season in your county or state. Again, I'm going to quick do the whole piece just to show it doesn't take that long. And once I do this, I'm not saying it's going to last forever, but Flitz will normally hold up between 3 and 4 months. That's pretty much average. If you do want it to last longer than that, the Flitz, oh my gosh, look at the oxidation pulls off. Wow. I'm just amazed myself how much stuff comes off. But if you do want to put the gun wax over it, or the sealant, you can. And I'm going to show that rubber to you, just for display here. Now we have the item finished and polished, and looks gorgeous. If you get water on top, you'll see the water beads right up, because the Flitz does leave a protective coating in the same way. So you can use Flitz on all your bright work, all the metal pieces. Does an excellent job. If you do want that little extra protection, again, you have the Flitz rifle and gun wax, which you can use not just on metal, you can use on the wood, whatever you choose. As you can see, it looks like hand lotion. I mean, that little dab will do the whole piece here. I wipe it off. And what that does, it gives you a little longer protection, especially against fingerprints. Anybody here has owned brass before? A brass key, a door handle, military badges. Brass is something that tarnishes very quickly. This leaves a super slick finish. Now I get moisture on here, it even beats up faster. I mean, it protects just like Flitz does, but it's much, much better. And so using the gun wax over brass on your firearms, on any of your antique pieces, it's really a big asset. Now, on my other piece over here, normally when we go shooting, we have shooting glasses. Now these goggles here, I just use more for safety goggles, and you can see how dull they are. I mean, they've been scuffed up, stuck in a shelf here probably, and put in a, I should say, in a drawer, probably not well taken care of. Now one thing about Flitz, if you notice on the packaging here, it says metal, plastic, and fiberglass polish. In other words, you can use this not just on metal. I was showing before on wood and on the stock. You can use it on plastics, fiberglass, and acrylics. Now, we're going to take a small dab of it like this. And again, I'll put it on with my finger here just to show I'm using it. And this basically, what's in here is scuff marks, just from laying around. Now, I'm going to take, again, a clean microfiber. And I want to massage the polish inside here. And again, I want to explain to you, everybody here, when I talk about abrasiveness, people always ask how abrasive is Flitz. I said Flitz carries a 4,000 to 5,000 abrasive factor. But when I'm doing this like this, there's enough rouge in this product that I can take off scuff marks, chalking from the sun, and oxidation, and make it 100% clear again. You can see the major difference. But now if you're going to use a pair of glasses like this, it sure makes it a lot easier to read and use it in the same way. So I definitely recommend using this. I actually use it sometimes on my ski equipment, because a lot of times it's thrown in a boat, you get little scuff marks on it and things, and I use it the exact same way. Again, as you see, don't let it dry. You put it on and rub it off. Now this is good for plastics, again acrylics, lucite, Lexan. There's really no plastic this is not safe on. It doesn't harm anything. Once I take it off like this though, we'll just take it and buff it off. So again, there's nothing in there to harm anything. That's one reason why the Flitz carries a USDA authorization. So it's safe to be used in the food areas, but it's also safe to use on different products you have around the house. Now, when people see my tumbler here, they always wonder, well, what is this device? Well, there's either a tumbler or vibrator, they call them. And these machines are designed, of course, to shake very, very quickly. They come with either crushed corn cob, or like in this case, walnut. Now the walnut is a little more abrasive. If you use the crushed corn cob, it's a little softer. Everybody has different preferences, what they want to use. But the cool thing about this is what we call our tumbler media additive. Now what this is a diluted form, not really diluted, it's not the right way of saying it, a thinned out version of the Flitz polish. Because it's thinned out, you can shake it and you can pour it directly in the machine. Super easy to use. Now a machine like this that carries basically a pound of media, you're putting in 1 capful per pound of media. When you put this in, you're pouring the product directly into the machine itself. Then as the machine turns and tumbles, it's mixing the product with the corn cob itself and gets saturated. Now, since this is not a non-working product here, just more for show, I just want to explain to you how it works, and then what we'll do for show and tell, I'm going to take the tumbler media additive and squirt some directly in the cloth here. And as I put in the cloth, just for grins, I'm going to take this real big shell, I call the mega one, easy to see, and we'll also take one of the smaller ones up here. But I want to give you an example how fast this product works, because when you tumble with it, there's two reasons this works so quickly. Number one, there's no ammonia in the product. Ammonia is the worst thing you can use in a tumbler vibrator because it embrittles the brass and deadens the primer. When I put this on, you can see how black the residue is. Amazing what comes off. Just like I showed before, in a couple seconds though, look at that luster. Now this is why people use this in a tumbler vibrator. Flitz will speed up the tumbling time at least 3 times. If you're spending 6 to 8 hours in a tumbler right now, you're going to spend max 2 to 3 hours. It's going to be a lot faster for you. It also leaves a protective coating. It seals it, prevents the air from getting at it, so it keeps the brass from tarnishing the same way. So when you're doing your reloads, it's something that stays clean. We at Flitz sell this tumbler media additive in 55-gallon drums to manufacturers that actually use it in their reformulated ammunition. Basically, when you take the ammunition in, they want to clean it first, make sure the primers and everything are good, and then reload it. So, because when you're looking at ammunition to get a super high luster, this product does it so easy, and it doesn't take very much. Now, I've used quite a bit on this little piece just because I squirted a bit on here. Nice thing with a tumbler or vibrator, those walnut shells get so impregnated, they just keep on working for you. But see the black residue and see the difference. It's just amazing what you get difference in luster. Compare before compared to after. Now let's finish the whole piece. I'm going to take the same dirty cloth and actually do the entire shell. Just to give you an example, that's all it takes to do it. And you could do it by hand. We have some people that actually buy the tumbler media additive and do all their shells by hand. And that's fine, but by using a piece of equipment like a tumbler or vibrator, it will save you a lot of labor. And when you're all finished, it's all done. I've actually had customers tell me that they've taken a little bit like a dryer cloth when you get done with the dryer, and put the dryer cloth in the tumbler when they're finished, just to absorb any residue or anything else that gets on top there. Now I'm going to a little more rubbing on here. In fact, let me get a little more polish. It takes a little squirt like that. Now, all these times you've seen me just put it on, rub it off. If you like to let the product penetrate, you're more than welcome to. It's not going to hurt to let it penetrate. The product, again, is very, very safe, but it's really not necessary. You can go at it right away. And when you have a commemorative piece like this, which is, as you can see, a little beat up over here, but once I get all the black residue off, it doesn't take much to really bring it out to a beautiful luster. Now once I've done this, if you decide to keep this basically on display in your home, as I said earlier, 4 or 5 months is nothing unusual. If people are touching it constantly and people are handling it, that's something you want to do a little more often. But look at that difference. It's amazing how that came out. Now I will take the gun and rifle wax, and again, show you if you do want to protect this. I'm going to take the wax, put it right in the cloth. As again, you can see it looks like a hand lotion type. And the gun and rifle wax, again, for those of you who just stepped in, is made of carnauba and beeswax. You spread it on. And once you apply it, you simply take another cloth and you buff it off. It's that simple. No different than waxing your car, except you don't let it dry. Now, if you want to let it dry, you can. You don't have to. It works the same way. It fills in on the other crevices and different things. And again, when you're finished, it leaves not only a brilliant finish, it leaves a brilliant protective coating. And by using that gun and rifle wax, we'll just give it that much longer of a preservative for you. As I mentioned earlier, we do have the ceramic sealant, which you can use if you want to afterwards. This is much more long-term. This will last for at least 6 months, and it will not break down from heat. But something like this is not going to get hot. This is actually just used for display. So the gun and rifle wax works fantastic for this use. Now I had some other items here. We've actually shown our tumbler media additive in a 7.6 ounce bottle. This comes in 16 ounce bottles, also comes in gallons. For those of you who do a lot of tumbling, we do make it in many different sizes. And I do want to point out on our little display back here, we have a couple items that are sold in the gun industry. We call them starter packs. Let me put this down here for a second. And what I'm trying to display over here quickly for you is this. This is a gun and knife care kit. This comes with a tube of polish, which is the same thing as we have in the can here. It comes with a gun and rifle wax, and also comes with a small bottle of a spray cleaner for flat matte, for your black, your AR type guns, your flat matte finishes as we showed on knives here. And it comes with a super ultra thick Flitz microfiber and instructions how to use it. This is a great little Christmas gift. It has everything in it to start out with. Once you start using Flitz, I know you'll be buying bigger sizes, but this makes a nice handy kit, especially if you want to put in a gun case with you as you're traveling. All those items you can take in a gun case. They're non-flammable. You can fly with them. There's nothing hard about this product. It really isn't. Now we also, from other knife manufacturers, have asked us to create a knife we call restoration kit. So what we've done here, we've taken the Flitz polish, which is liquid form. Again, this is a thinner version, so you can use it easily in larger areas and cloths and so on. It comes with a DMT knife, diamond knife sharpener and a break-free lubricant, which is your gun lubricant and knife lubricant. Comes with a pin needle in here, very easy to use. In fact, let me open it up here a little bit, show you the various pieces. What I like about the lubricant, I use this in my tackle box, I use it in the gun, I pull it right off, and you can see the needle. It's very minute. I'm just show you. Maybe put a little bit here on the plastic, hopefully the cameraman can get it, but you can see how small of a dab of oil you can get on here. Great when you're doing firearms, your knives, you get it right inside, one little squirt, and it just takes a little dab, push it down, and start moving it. So much easier for lubrication. So that's part of it. The DMT sharpener is made of diamonds, which is phenomenal and very super easy to use. Just go in one direction. And this can work on all kinds of different items. Plus, they have the grooves here to do fish hooks and different things that way too. You can do serrated blades or regular blades with it. The diamond sharpener is very quick and easy. You don't need a brain surgeon to be working this, and it's a way to keep everything very, very sharp. And it's part of our system here. And wipe that off here. So not only did the person get a polished knife, they have it lubricated and sharpened at the same time. And then we have our Flitz liquid polish, which is of course used to clean the cutlery itself. And if you notice in the back here, one is those thick microfibers from Flitz is all included. This package deal is available again for Christmas. It's a great item if you decide to get something like that for a friend or family. And you don't have to be in the hunter, even if you're just using it in other things. So just wanted to share that with you, that we have available from Flitz, some different pieces. Everything we sell is in a full money-back guarantee. Has been for the last 45 years. There's no hang-ups. We're a family-owned company based here in Wisconsin. We're very blessed. I'm very blessed to say that we've had 5 people retire from our company, and many of our staff has been here for 20, 30 years, even longer. So we have a great product, a great team of people here in the Midwest. If you call our phone numbers, we have great customer service. We can take care of you anytime, answer any questions. And if you go online, you'll see our hundreds, thousands of reviews on anything from Amazon to your normal YouTube customers. It's amazing to me how many of our customers take the time and energy to create their own videos and how to sell, and how to not sell, but how to show Flitz on what it does. And it's a real high when you work for a company that people always brag about the product. Thanks again for joining us.
Thanks so much for checking out the video. If you like what you saw, hit the like button and subscribe. Also, you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram too. Remember, Flitz it.